Hey guys, Shaun here from Lawn Right. This is Van Talk episode 4. And today we're talking about fungus in the lawn. Again, it's actually been one of the wettest years for quite some time actually. The average rainfall in the UK has been up. So from October, it was actually 37% more rainfall than there was in October last year. However, June to August of this year was actually down by 15% on rainfall. So we started off the year getting nice and hot and the earth is heating up, and then we're getting tons and tons of rain. So all that heat and all that moisture is creating hot and humid, in other words a sticky environment, which is the perfect breeding ground for fungus. It's like when you get athlete's foot between your toes. It's hot and sweaty and sticky down there, so you get athlete's foot, you get toenail fungus. It's the same in your bathroom. When you're having hot showers all the time, you see it more in winter because the windows aren't open as much and there's not as much ventilation. You start to see mold forming. It's just exactly the same. Mold will form in hot and humid conditions, and that is what's happened to a lot of lawns this year. I'm seeing this on probably 95% of all the lawns I'm going to now, and it's not even anything new now. Every single lawn I'm going to has got some form of disease on it. So like I say, the earth's been heating up and followed by the excess rain. High humidity creates lots of fungus. So what are we seeing? Well, there's all sorts out there, but the most common ones, as you can be aware of, is red thread fungus. And to sort out red thread, you can usually get rid of it with a good nitrogen feed, but not always. And again, at this time of the year, it's the wrong time of the year to be putting nitrogen down in December. But you can put a fungicide on right through winter to get rid or reduce the amount of red thread. Bear in mind that ground conditions are going to be quite wet for quite some time, so there's every chance of it coming back. But if you want to improve your lawn and get it looking greener over winter, then get yourself some fungicide put down for red thread. It will sort it out in as best its way it can, depending on the conditions really. The other one that I'm seeing a lot of is Ascochyta. Don't ask me to spell it or pronounce it properly, but Ascochyta. It's where the top of the blades sort of bleach and they become wilted and twist, and you may see some little brown spots on the blade as well, and it actually spreads. So Ascochyta can spread on your mower blades, and it can spread by attaching itself to your mower's wheels. It can spread by attaching itself to your shoes. It is reasonably harmless in the fact it doesn't do too much damage to the lawn, but it's very unsightly. And I've got the perfect example of a lawn where you could see the Ascochyta tracking where people had walked up and down along the washing line, and you could also see actual footprints in the grass of basically areas of grass. And if it was summer, I would say, hey, has this guy had some petrol on his shoes or something like that? But no, it's just fungus, Ascochyta. Usually a good couple of mows and it will sort of clear itself up, but at this time of the year anything's possible, so there's no harm in getting a fungicide on. These are things that you can do in December for your lawn to try and keep it nice and green. I also recommend you watch my other video with 15 tips to look after your lawn over winter, because those are absolutely critical to go alongside with this. We're talking about mowing higher, between 2 and 3 inches if you can. You certainly don't want to be scalping it. Keeping your blades nice and sharp, washing your mower down. That's also important with the fungus as well, especially with Ascochyta. What you want to do is wash your lawn mower down after each visit on the lawn. Thankfully, it won't be doing too much on the lawn at this time of the year, but a good couple of dry days over winter, you can always take the tops off. So both can be treated with fungicide, but like I say, Ascochyta often goes away after a couple of weeks. Just remember to maintain those good practices, guys. Mowing 2 to 3 inches, keep your blade sharp, and scarify and aerate your lawns in autumn. You can obviously do it any time of the actively growing season for scarifying and aeration. Aeration you can do pretty much any time, obviously not in frost and not in snow and not in wet, boggy conditions. But the rest of the time you can aerate as and when. It will help with the movement of water down through the soil profile, and it will help with the airflow down to the roots. It will help the roots become thicker and stronger because they push out into the looser surrounding soil to create a thicker, stronger, happier, healthier plant. It's so simple when you've been doing it for all these years. I've been at it almost 20 years, and you see this time and time and time and time again, the things that you need to do. Scarifying and aeration will fix a lot of things a lot of the times. They really do need to be annual things. If your lawn is prone to moss every single winter because of the damp, shady corners in your lawn, or you've been cutting it short, or you've got to build up a thatch, all these things can hold water. Thatch is just basically a bath sponge sat on top of your lawn, but it's mixed in and among all the blades of grass. So you can't just pick it up, you've got to rake it out, but that's going to take some of those grass plants with it. But if you could get the thatch out in autumn, then the lawn is going into winter. Bear with me. If you do it and allow for 6 to 7 weeks after, so really middle of October is the latest I would personally be happy to be scarifying, and if we're seeding as well, because you need at least 6 weeks for the lawn to recover, and that takes you up to about the end of November. Traditionally at that time the temperatures start to drop. This year has been particularly different. It's stayed warmer for longer, perfect breeding ground for fungus. And because of the high temperatures we've had right up until the end of November, we've even seen more of the grub activity. Because it's been warmer, they've stayed higher in the soil profile, and that's led to more and more birds coming down pecking at the lawn for grubs. So it's just common practice, and I'm going to be sharing you these tips as we go throughout the year. Now, because I treat lawns commercially on a business purpose, we use commercial products all the time. As this channel continues, I'm going to be using some of the products which you can actually buy yourself, and then you can see how it looks on my lawn. I'm going to put it on my own lawn, and you can then follow. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, guys. I've managed to get some footage which I will put in with this video. But basically, just all this fungus in the lawn, and it's because of all the heat and because of all the wet stuff. You can't stop that. You can't stop nature, but you can do what you can to minimize the causes of it. Thatch is just, like I say, a bath sponge sat on top of your lawn with all the blades of grass nestled in. You imagine that bath sponge and someone's poured a load of water on it, it's cold, it's wet, it's horrible. But then if we get the higher soil temperatures, that thing warms up. So it's like a perfect breeding ground for fungus. Aeration. So if you don't aerate your ground becomes hard and compacted. So any rain we do get, and we're getting a lot of wet weather, it's taken a long time to drain through. It tends to sit on the surface of the ground for longer. That's where you get the moss coming in, especially in the damp corners as well, because moss thrives in damp, shady conditions. So you will always see it along fence lines, in corners. The grass first starts to thin because there's not enough light. It needs at least 3 hours of direct sunlight on it every single day to be anything half decent. If this happens to you, you've got to look at overseeding every single year. But if you can maintain higher cutting, you can achieve a better result through winter, and then a better result when it comes back out of winter, and then things start to recover. But chances are you'll have to do a little bit of overseeding every single year. You've got to get it as thick as you can, and then go into winter so it comes out as thick as it can. If your grass starts to thin, grass, weeds, moss all compete for the same amount of space in the lawn. So if you've got thin spaces where you can see the soil, that's where the moss can creep in, that's where the weeds can creep in. So number one, the goal for you is to try and keep your grass thick, taller, between 2 and 3 inches, especially over winter. You can get between 1 and 3 inches the rest of the year pretty much. Personally for me, I never cut it short. unless I do it by accident. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please check out the other videos, especially the one with the 15 tips to lawn care. I will link to it here. And yeah, any questions, just pop them in the comments below. If you've liked this video, please like it. Please smash that like button. Please click on that like button. If you like this channel, please subscribe. Please click on that bell notification icon. And I will produce more and more of these as we go through the year. Hopefully you like my channel, you like me, you like the way that I explain things. I am as real as it gets. I've been treating lawns for close to 20 years. I started off treating lawns for a major lawn care company in the UK. I actually have nothing bad to say about the company. I actually really enjoyed working there. And I have fond memories of working for that company. Naming no names. But there are a few things that I didn't particularly like about the company and how they... some business practices and how they pushed for more and more and more. That's another story for another day over a pint. But I had the love for being outdoors and for treating lawns and for talking to people. So I put all that together and I was going to set up where I lived before, but my marriage came to an end, so it was put on ice for a while. And then I moved to where I am now, and we basically started doing it in the evenings and weekends, built it up, and it's about... it's 7 or 8 years now full time, and never look back. So I enjoy what I do. Right guys, see you on the next video.